Welcome everyone. This is the second game of the Chinese All-Star Queen Tournament. We're currently having the same players as the first game. This is the second game of the Group 4 playoffs. There will be 2 more games to come in these playoffs, and we'll be focusing on how players adjust, how are players spending, are they still spending aggressively and rolling aggressively in the early game, or do players adjust from the first game? Please let me know in the comments below who is your favorite player and what is your favorite build in this particular tournament. Hi everyone, we're currently in the second game of the Chinese All-Stars Invitational. For those that haven't seen the first game, definitely check it out in the link below. And for the second game, there's a few players I want to highlight to you guys. The player of focus again will be this player with green hair, and for him particularly, he has been the player that's world top 10, and supposedly he got 2 accounts to world top 10, and he was a really good player in the first game, so we would definitely want to stay tuned how he plays. We're starting off the round into the first few rounds, and what we want to see is what unit choices the players make. And yes, the caster did spot a player called Newbie, and Newbie me god, and he high rolled into a 2-star task right at the second round, which is very nice. I'm sure you guys have noticed some of the very nice couriers the players have. Some of them are custom made by the developers for winning tournaments or participating in special Chinese events. We're looking at the neutral rounds. Usually for the neutral rounds, what we want to see is items. What items do the players find and how they allocate the items. The second thing we want to see is how the players are going to start round 4. Usually from round 4 to round 10, you want as many 2-stars as you can. You can adjust your lineup according to the 2-star units you have. So center your lineup synergies around the 2-stars is key. As you can see, even a normal courier like Bounty Hunter have some really nice auras for those players. We're looking at a goblin over here. Hawk warrior that high rolled into a shuttle thing, very interesting. This is a player that high rolled on his second roll as well into a Lycan. He actually does not have gold for the third unit because he only has 6 gold at round 3. So this is Newbie. Let's keep in mind on Newbie, and we'll keep in mind he's a beast warrior right now. The player, again, I want to be focusing with you guys, is the player with green hair. Each time we find him, let's focus on him. Last game, for those of you that don't want spoilers, you can skip this for 10 seconds. Last game, he did spend quite quickly. He was a player that spent most of gold. He tried to push for a win streak. He spent so aggressively. Let's see what he does on this round. Oh, we have Mars Warriors. And this is the green hair player, by the way. He uses a little green dragon. We can keep in mind of that. He's going with Mars and Juggernaut and Slaughter. So Mars Warriors. Over here, as you can see, players do favor the Bounty Hunter and Anti-Mage in this early stage of the game for their ability to lock down demons and Mana Bird. Bounty Hunter for his low cooldown and high nuke potential. Goblin players are everywhere at the start of the game because Goblin is by far the strongest units to be found as 2-stars or to be used as 1-stars, simply because of nanobot potential. Looking over here, we can see the use of Anti-Mage. The Anti-Mage will actually counter the Shadow Fiend's demon power, so he will not do his additional pure damage. Also, Shadow Fiend can't gain mana as fast by double dipping into the demon power and with his normal attack. Demons will gain mana twice as fast if they hit with pure damage that's over 50. On top of that, Shadow Fiend gains double mana for being a Warlock. If you're interested on how mana works, definitely check out my guides in the description below where I explain how mana works and how to allocate items for the best mana gain and best items for damage and attack speed. Now, looking over here, we have 4 players having the win streak right now on the first round, which is to be expected. And there, you just saw how strong the nanobot is. Because of the nanobot, the Tinker probably got multiple missiles and defeated the player that was defending. What we want to see is, after a few rounds, the highlight is how the Chinese players spend and how they adjust their units. We can see a heavy favor in terms of undead units, 1-star Ranger and 1-star Abaddon. This allows for a stronger focus fire in terms of damage, but the front line is kind of weak because it's a 1-star Abaddon. The player that high rolled into a task is currently sitting on 100% HP, of course. Oh, actually, he's not. He's sitting on 99% HP. I'm really interested in who defeated him, because I thought he had a really good chance of winning. And the casters may be interested as well. Notice here, guys. He sold his units, he leveled up here. He only has 4 units on the board because by leveling up, he doesn't have any gold. What he could have done is differently, but leveling up here is to increase his rate of finding a 2-cost unit and a 3-cost unit. Level 5 has the highest rate of 2 costs still, and higher rates for 3 costs, and increased rates for 4 cost unit at 2%. So he wanted to go warriors, and elite warriors like Conquer, Doom, and Troll Warlord can be a massive pickup for him in the early game. That's why he leveled up, even though he can't put a unit down. That level up was for rates, for the higher rates of units. I really like how this little shark swims, and this must be a custom-made courier by the developers. We can see the use of anti-mage again. Goblins, anti-mages are the heavy spotlight favors for the early game, simply for the multiple uses and for the dominance for win streak. Similarly, you can see Enchantress, Anti-Mage, and Goblins. It's almost half of the time you'll be facing unit pairs that's similar composition, but whoever comes up top is a number of 2 stars. So, Wanda also asked me, have I prepared a bottle of water? Yes, I have, my friend. Thank you so much. I got some water next to me, so I can drink some water while I cast this game. We'll be focusing on players with a win streak. Right now, there's no players with a 100% win streak. What that means is no one's leading in terms of economy. In a game like this, we need to keep in mind, whoever has a massive lead, the rest of the players will actually stop competing against him. They will not tailor the unit competition against him, but rather they will go for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position, because they know going against the leader, it's little volatile because he has so much economy, he has so much health, and so much potential to be rolling other things. The player that is green here is currently sitting on level 5 with 2 gold, 93%. He is in the middle of the pack. Usually here you want to have a win streak or lose streak. If you're stuck in between, it's not that great. This is an elf versus hunter. The hunter is supposed to be countering elf's evasion. Let's see if that's the case. The difference maker here is the amount of tank units in the front line for the elves and knights, and compared to the hunter. The hunter did not have a solid front line, and most of the hunters are only 1 star. Very soon we'll be noticing a little difference between player choices. It's when they actually take more units on the bench or when they start to save up. As we can see, the leading player is the Green Frog player. He's currently sitting on, he's currently sitting on pretty high gold, but the next thing you know, he leveled up to protect his win streak. This is going to be level 8 first, and level 8, there's still 2 more rounds to go. And usually players will want to start saving up at level 9 unless they're running a losing streak. So the top players are likely to be spending because they want to retain their win streaks, and the bottom player over here will likely to be saving up. This player here is currently level 5, 82%, and 10 gold. Morfire said, what do you think is the strongest comp at the moment? That's a really good question, my friend. Something I want to explain to you guys as well. The comp of focus will be knights that turns into dragons and trolls. Mages with alternative turns into God's Mage, Elemental Mage, or just 6 mages. Then there's assassins, the good old 6 assassins that runs over everyone with massive critical hits. And lastly, there will be elite warriors. Those 4 are the core metaphor at the moment, and we do see them a lot. And on the side, we might see things like elves, hunters, or even goblins if not many people are playing that particular race or synergy. Players tend to take the path less traveled by, or the race that's used. And sometimes, this is the green hair player. Did you guys see that? Let me give you a quick reflect, guys. So he's got the mask, right? Currently, how much gold is he sitting on? He sold enough gold for 10 gold, and he started a losing streak by the looks of it. Let's see if that's the case. Is he deliberately starting a losing streak? And he did buy the Timber Saw as the value unit. He is currently sitting on level 5. That means he could have put 5 units. He sold his unit for 10 gold, then he deliberately put on 4 units to force the losing streak. So let's keep in mind of that. It's likely he will be exchanging health for gold. And players do actively start losing streaks if they know how to control it, and if they know a good transition in the mid game to the late game. And if we did not, sometimes this ends terribly and we die super fast. The game ends for the player with a losing streak in about 20 rounds. This is a very, very strong player. And I think this particular player did a chunk of damage to him because he was a win streak leader. The casters came back to him to show the players that defeated our little shark player. The win streak leader was so strong because of the number of 2 cost units he forged in. Sorry, the win streak leader is so strong because of the number of 2-star units he found. Let's have a look here. Round 10, most players want to be on multiples of 10 or they want to level up. What we can see is 20 gold, 10 gold, 13 gold, and 10 gold. The rest of the player have no gold at all. So usually you want to capitalize on it. Oh, something I want to highlight with you guys as well. Usually you want to capitalize on the chance of a neutral round to make as much interest as you can. On the second thing, why are the players not using auto combine, you might ask? It's because if you combine the Queen of Pain, they actually sell for less price at 2 cost. I know it's a great addition for his lineup, but he's currently thinking whether he wants the Queen of Pain or he wants to keep the Shadow Fiend. The next roll might determine that, because a 2-star Shadow Fiend is much better for his lineup. Once he forged the Queen of Pain into 2-star, by selling her he actually loses money, so he didn't use auto combine over here. I think the caster is on top of that as well. I am not a robot said, in the current meta, Troll seems to be the easiest to 3-star, but it's hard to make work. Maybe some of the vials, even a demo on this would be insane. Yes, we'll be looking for players that play Troll. Last game, in the first round of the playoffs, there was a player that went for Trolls and Knights that was incredibly strong. He did come top 3 in that game as well. The Trolls are a good alternative. The downside is if we don't find our 3-star Trolls, we will be super weak in the mid to late game because the rest of the Trolls are 1 cost and 2 cost units that tends to die super fast due to 1 AoE or 1 spell. And knowing there's so many assassins and so many mages, this happens too often for the Troll player. We can see a good resemblance of assassins stomping over players after round 10. And this is such an early stomp with assassins, so this is very interesting. Simply because usually you don't see a matured assassin that early, but once you see one, oh gosh, people are not happy. And we did just see 2 assassin player at least. We're coming back to Newbie because Newbie was the player that started with a 2-star task, and the casters must be wondering how lucky did he get by going into assassins with a Phantom, Queen of Pain, and a task as a 2-star right now at round 12. This is incredibly strong, and also notice his Queen positioning. He's adjusting her. She's the crucial minion, that she's over there so she doesn't jump to the back line, but rather, let me go back a little bit, she's over here that she doesn't jump to the back line, and of course the front line, she'll have a coverage of spells on the front line. Also she'll be gaining mana from little residual damage from the AoEs, but she will not die, and the Phantom is here to protect her as well, so everything's focused on the Queen of Pain. And being a 2-star, she definitely deserves her spot as the highlight of this composition. What we want to see is to see if anyone's saving. Keep in mind the player that started a losing streak purposely is our world top 10 player, the green hair player. He went from about 90% health to 75% health. He exchanged health for gold. Let's see if that's going to work out for him, and I'm sure the casters will be on the lookout for him. He did a very nice game in the first game. Let's see if he can do the same with this game with a different strategy. Last game he went massive spending, he wanted to protect his win streak. This game he did the very opposite. This Laundress positioning and the use of bear might be what changes the fight here for him. And this is a green hair player, by the way. The little green dragon also resemblance for him. If he can kill this Mars, he is happy, but unfortunately the Mars is so strong in terms of physical damage defense. But regardless, he is maintaining his losing streak. He is not losing too much health each round. That is the key. No longer can we go open fort anymore because players are so much faster. They punish open fort without a second dot. And open fort players would tend to lose too much health. They can't even make it to round 15 with 30% health usually. Let's look at the levels over here. 7, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, and 6. Usually the players got to level 6 because of the normal leveling, so the XP will gain every turn instead of spending gold. Usually the players at level 7 are those that spend extra gold to protect the win streak or to push a little further with their composition. This 2-star Shadow thing is incredibly strong in this lineup. Seeing the Mage of Eraser and a Crystal Maiden will be a highlight to most players to be aware that normally here he is going to mages, or he might want to curve into goblins for the late game. I know it's funny to say goblins in the late game, but it is possible if you get a top row of techies at level 8, and then you can go into goblins comfortably knowing that. And let's see. Lucky L says, what do the numbers on the top left corner of the picture means? The number on the top left corner of the picture, the numbers over here, you mean? The queen rankings are the rankings for the queens, while the numbers for the players, I don't think that means anything. I think that was just his name. The numbers over here is the career level, and the number down here is the amount of mana or gold each player has. Highlight to see is which players are going for level 7. Last game, a lot of players went for level 7 very quickly, and they rushed in terms of aggression. So they matched aggression with aggression. This game, similar things are happening. But the most aggressive player last game is the most economy player this game. He is quite comfortable with his 50 gold and 63% HP. In comparison, the player with 58% HP is on the same level as him, but with 28 gold difference, because he did not maintain a win streak, or he did not maintain a lose streak, and he did not plan for the lose streak. While this player, he was number 2 on the leaderboard when he started the losing streak. Unfortunate for him, he lost pretty massively over there. Because of that loss, he's on 50% HP and 50% gold. It's acceptable, but I'm sure he'll definitely be happier with higher health, because health is a massive resource in the mid to late game. Oh, this is something I want to highlight as well. Round 15. Did you guys see that? So let's go back a little bit. This is a green hair player the caster is focusing on, because he's such a star player and he's doing something that usually players don't usually do. He purposely do something. Let's have a look again at the highlight. He's currently sitting on 62 gold. Sitting on 62 gold, he's versing on Wolf's Run. Most players will try to make most saving out of the Wolf's Run, but for this player, he leveled first with his savings. Looking over here, yes, he leveled first, and then he started rolling on the Wolf's Run. And why would he do this? It's because he might feel that he is weaker against the wolves. He wants to defeat the wolves to protect health. Also, he wants the gold from the wolves. He is comfortable enough with his units the moment he finds a 2-star unit, I feel. Yeah, there you go. Now he's swapping. You might say, hey, why doesn't he wait a little longer? It's because if he loses to wolves, not only does he lose health, he also loses precious items he could be finding. That is a very aggressive laundry positioning. He got the laundry off. Wow, so nice. Because of the Crystal Maiden and the 3 warps synchronizing their attacks. The highlight here is he's turning into a Mars Mage. Oh my gosh, I did not see that coming. But I'm sure he was planning that at the very start. Now he turned into a Mars Mage. Oops. I think this little fragment with the video. So now he turned into a Mars Mage. He is my best player right now. He's my favorite players. Items are crucial because some of those items will mean that the Deucer will cast faster on rounds, or the Disruptor will be able to silence faster. The Assassin player is going to be a big punisher for most other players simply because the early maturity phase and the early lock and roll phase. For those phases, if you're interested, definitely check out my guides on explaining those phases. In short, once you get to the maturity phase, you can save up. Over here, he's saving up with 6 units because Assassins mature so much earlier. Once you get to the lock and roll phase, you can save up to 50 gold and start rolling without leveling. Lastly, once you get to the optimal level phase, you can be comfortable with your unit choices, and any units on top of that would just be optional and to counter other players. For example, Nagas, for example, Enigmas for knights, Nagas for mages. 6 knights. Those are the old-fashioned counters to each other. The 6 knights is great because super armor will protect the knights against critical hits when you proc the armor. The downside is, if the assassins tend to hit you when you don't have the armor, you are actually not be able to tank the assassins. As we can see over there, the knights are tankier than assassins. That's why people say knights are good counters to assassins. But it's always a difference because assassins mature faster than knights, and they tend to cost a little less compared to knights. Let's count what builds we're seeing. We're seeing the knights, assassins, Mars Mage. We're seeing a bit of the hunters. We probably have at least 2 or 3 assassins right now in the game. And the key thing here is to notice how players are picking their lineup. The players do want to avoid each other in terms of lineup matchup if possible. The assassin player have no going back. And because of that, we have a warlock player. Because of that, assassin players do tend to go in very much faster. Other players are going for unit compositions players are not playing. This is the warlock player, and he has 3 warlocks. The downside is those are only 1 cost warlocks, and he did find a very strong player with lots of 2 stars. So what we're looking at is the players on the bottom. We won't be taking those players for granted because they will be the ones that start going all in so much faster and increase the phase of the game faster. What we want to notice is the amount of gold they have. If I am in the position of top 3 over here or top 4, I will be very concerned about this player, the green hair player, because not only he's low on health, he's also high on gold. That means he's gonna kick up his economy and he's gonna kick up his composition so much faster. And if I happen to be bumping into him when he becomes a truck, he'll run me over. That's not a good reason. So why is that? Because he has the economy, he has the lineup. What he needs is a win streak to get back into the game. Because he'll be spending, he'll be powering up, he'll be super stronger than most players because he got matured so much faster. As we can see, 2-star Razor, 2-star Lone Druid, and most of the other units are 2-star or 1-star crucial units to enable the mages. He might lose 1 or 2 here, but the key thing to highlight is he is quite at the maturity, he's going to the lock and roll phase. Losing to the dragon here, looking to the knights here will actually be quite painful for him because he can't afford to lose much of his health. So the players will be focused on will be the leader players, which is very interesting. Look at the caster go, guys. Look at this superb animation of unit choices with the players. It's going to be hard for me to tell though, so definitely check out. Look at all the 2-stars players are finding for this particular round. This is incredible how they have such highly designed camera angle, and all the players have stopped rolling by now, but most of the players did find some really critical 2-star units in this round. Let's have a look. What round is this? This was round 19. So on round 19, most players do tend to save up because they know saving up here means you get double interest for round 19 and round 20. And we can see 40, 34, 36, 32, 40, 50, 30, and 19. So other than the bottom player, every other player is saving up big time for this round 19 because they know they can benefit interest twice from round 19 and round 20. So for the general summary, most players tend to spend on the first 2 rounds after the neutral round, and they tend to save up on the last round for the neutral round. For example, round 21, 22 is when players spend, round 24 is when players save up for the 25. We do notice a few compositions, and those are the frequent compositions we see. We notice the mages. This time it's a Mars mage, a God's mage. We notice the hunters. We notice the use of elementals and goblin mages as well over here. We also notice the frequent occurrence of the assassins and knights, because those two not only counter each other, they also generally give you a better standing in the game. This player over here is doing something which is very nice. He's got spare time, he's rearranging his units, he's rearranging his storage. Yes, Zeus said, we're a warlock demon, very nice, and those unit composition will be interesting against the enemy player. Let me have a look what's happening. No, replay, come back to me. Okay, we're back. So, the Ursus can be strong against most players, but if you have anything that locks them down, if you have anything that slows them, most players are okay. The hardest neutral monsters come after round 25, so that will be the lizards on round 30 and the dragons after that. I do need to fix the replay. Okay, this is okay. We're back to the green hair player. No, we just had a glimpse of him. What I want to highlight is notice on this round. Let me show you guys something. So over here, I'm going to pause over here. Currently, we have one level 8 and everyone's level 7. The level 8 player, he was the win streak leader. He leveled to level 8 because he had the economy. What I want to show you guys is that round 21, once we're going to round 21, how many people levels up and how much do they spend. after round 21. This is something I think most of us do miss, is that you really do have to spend quite a bit for round 21. Let's have a look. We got to level 8 here, level 8 here, level 8 here, and most of the players are spending rapidly with the gold, either rolling or leveling. Ooh, the player that was level 8 went to level 9. So 3 players went to level 8, the player that's level 8 went to level 9, and the rest of the players, those who are not spending because they feel comfortable with the health, and those who don't have much economy. So another level 8 player over here. So massive power specs with every player. Basically, round 21 is the final showdown for most players, and the players on the lower side might not survive to level 26 over here. Yeah, high roll assassins is quite scary, and similarly, most units that high roll, say assassins, knights, and trolls, are very scary at this stage of the game. We want to keep in mind of this player, which is a green hair player. He was the one to actively start a losing streak. So unlike those 2 players that was found their way to the bottom because of the unit choices or because of bad RNG, he chose to be down there. So it's likely he will make a better comeback compared to the other 2 players. The other player I want to focus on is a player that went to level 9. There must be a reason why he went to level 9 so quickly, because most Chinese players do value economy as well. By going to level 9, means there has to be a good reason to sacrifice that much of economy to be spending about 30-40 gold to level up. So let's stay tuned to see the casters once they go onto his screen. Let's see what composition he's got. This knight player is in trouble. That is not your average hunter. That's a big elite archer squad of hunters that also has a launcher to boot. And the Deucer, once the Deucer casted, the fate of the knight player is sealed, as we can see. And this is a terrible loss. He's likely to lose over 15% of health on this round. Oh, he lost 20. Oh gosh, that's so painful for anyone to watch. Okay, so that's a hunter. That is a hunter elf. That might actually, yeah, this is a hunter elf, and this particular hunter elf, it's something unique because he noticed that not many players are going for elves, and he took a good chance in a niche market over here. Hey, this was the 3 warlocks we saw earlier. Notice how here he transitioned into the knights and warlocks, and he should be a player that's quite strong. The downside is he's the lowest HP player in the game, so he really wants to push further. The upside is he should be quite strong, but any random occurrence, say a good spell cast from the mages over here, or say a good focus from the hunters, might be the end of him. This bow deck might actually be the end of him. But that's a Zeus as well. Oh gosh. If that Zeus survives, he'll do additional damage to the health pool. But thankfully, the 2-star Necro was able to sustain the knights with his healing and his burst damage. So we do have a discussion with Philip about Venomancer. Venomancer is really nice. I feel at around anytime you can find Venomancer as a 2-star, he's really nice until the round 22. He can take you to 26 and maybe a little further if you have a beast composition, but he does fall off after round 22 or 26, I feel. But before that, he is incredible. Now, let's pause for a moment. This is the player of the frog. His name is the frog, and he is the player that power level to level 9. Let's have a look at his composition. Why would he power level to level 9? I was thinking something similar to this line, but I wasn't sure, so I wanted to look before I show it to you guys. He's going for goblins. The only reason a player will go to level 9, personally for myself as well, is because he wants to roll for techies. Only reason is that the win condition is a legendary that you have to roll, and if you don't find him soon, you'll be so much in trouble. That's why he went to level 9 with all his income. Not only that, by going to level 9 also protect his health. So it's like a 2 birds with 1 stone. The downside is, if he doesn't find techie soon, he'll be falling in terms of health because he can't defeat other composition with goblins. Goblins are great for now, but in a few turns, he will be losing with the goblins only. Because we can see there's hunters, there's knights, there's gods mages, those things do come into spike very soon. Likely he will be replacing the bounty hunter over here. This is a green hair player, and he was the player at the bottom of the leaderboard because he went down there in a choice of a losing streak. Gods mages is incredibly strong with the Crystal Maiden, and the pack here is just to activate the Gods Mage. If the Razor can do it again, he can minimize so much damage. Not only he minimized the damage, he might actually win here. Look at those creatures, Razor Stab. The Razors actually have quite solid damage dealer as well, because they have 1.1 attack speed, which is very high, and some good attack animation as well. So, for the legendary rates, it is 1% at level 8, 3% for level 9, and 6% for level 10. Usually it's too hard to level 10 to roll for techies. That's why most techies players do level up to level 9 to be rolling for techies. And it's also too costly to be going to level 10 unless you're so comfortable with health and economy. There is a first player that's to be eliminated, and very soon the second player will be eliminated at 7%. Round 25 neutral monsters are considered one of the easiest neutral monsters because not only are they ranged, they also do not focus down on unit. They hit different units and they're not very strong in terms of damage. So most players see round 25 as a way to recover, a way to save up some economy, and after round 25, what likely we'll be seeing is a lot of players going all in here. Let's have a look. So again, we're going to do the comparison. Here we have level 8. Level 8, there's only one level 9 player. Every player is level 8. What I'm expecting to see is a lot of players going to level 9, or they're spending all their gold into sub rolling. So there will be level 9 players. All players will be spending lots of gold to roll around 26. Because round 26 is usually the difference maker for the bottom 4 players. And if you do successfully find a few crucial 2-star or 3-star, you can really stand out. This is basically the final showdown for most players. And our friend the frog is currently rolling at level 9 really deep. He's looking for clockwork, he's looking for techies. The moment he finds it, he will be incredibly strong. But if he doesn't find it, he will miss his window as goblin techies with 6 goblins to counter the hunters and to counter the knights. We can see the leader player is the one that's not spending much, the 2 leader player, and the rest of the players basically have spent almost the last drop, almost the last 10 gold. The green hair player is currently level 9. He also leveled up here to level 9. So the God's Mage went to level 9 as well. Assassin's optimal level is level 8, so it's actually beneficial for most assassins to be rolling at level 8. Similarly, the knights are here to stay on level 9 and level 8 because most knights are 3 costs or lower. By going up a level, you don't gain a better rate. Meanwhile, you're actually spending more gold for just one additional slot when you can be rolling your 3-star Chaos Knight and 3-star Luna, which is your crucial win condition in the late game. This is a quite even match simply because there is no win streak leader. Without that, each player tend to counter each other. For example, the knights can counter the mages and the hunters, and vice versa. The hunters can counter the other 2 if they get a good Deucer spell or a good Conquer spell. We can see the 3 warriors. 2 Conquers are great, and he also leveled up over here. So the win streak leader went to level 9 as well. So currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4 level 9 player, and most of the other players have spent most of their gold. The next few rounds we will likely see a few players die and a few players lose their ranking if they match the wrong matchup. Here's a God's Mage with the Train Protector. That train is your little made in China. Sorry, that's not. I was going to say he's your made in China Necromancer because he doesn't have the AoE burst damage, but he's got AoE heal. And we saw how strong the God's Mage is simply because the pure amount of burst potential, the mana regen, and lower cooldown reduction means if the enemy can't take him out in the first few rounds, he will just die outright. And we did see the Knight's Warlock did die over here because he faced a bad matchup. Without enough health to buffer him, 1 loss will be the end for him. For the players down here, there's 6 players left. For the players down here, they have 1 get off jail free card to lose once. Most likely, they can't afford to lose twice. The players up here, other than the win streak leader, can lose twice. The win streak leader might be able to lose 3 times. So each player don't have much left in them. They found the clockwork. He still did not find the techies. He found the Zeus and the Enigma, but no techies. This is the pain for a Goblin player I experienced as well. And this is why each additional legendary makes Goblin race or Goblin gameplay or composition so much weaker. Oh, this is our win streak leader. He found the Goblin player, and the Goblin player punished him massively with a Zeus step. He lost 19%. for those of us that didn't know, Zeus does additional health damage to the courier. The moment you lose to Zeus and he survives on the board, he will do additional 10% of your current health in terms of additional damage. That's for level 1 Zeus. Level 2 Zeus should be 15%. Made in China Necro, I know, Cashman. That's probably not the best joke, but my excuse is I'm also Chinese, so it's okay to joke about Chinese things, right? We do notice that a few players are adding Zeus to the composition because Zeus can be a unit that's heavily RNG based. He can do massive damage and he can do no damage. Because Zeus's zap is actually not guaranteed to hit other units. He hits units at 50% chance, but if he does hit, it's a massive damage. Here is the Knight player versus the Mage player. Likely the Knight player should counter the Mage player because of the super armor. Once the Mage loses the initial set of focus, the Dragon Knight will follow with his puffs and AoE splash the weak and squishy mages, and that's what we saw right here. Also, you guys saw the win condition over here. The reason the Dragon Knight couldn't puff all day in the backline was because he had a 3-star Chaos Knight in the front line. That's why I say Knights are actually optimal at level 8 if you roll into your 3-star Seeker or 3-star Luna. Again, the match is getting closer and closer. We're looking at players with almost no savings on the bottom because they know how close it is for them. The last two players are likely to be spending all their gold because this will be the break factor after this round. Because after round 30, this is basically to determine who's going to be top 4 and who's going to be the bottom 5th and 6th player over here. We do notice a lot of adjustment to positioning to counter the lizards. The Dragon player is actually not too troubled about the lizards. Not only does he have the 3-star CK, he's also got the Viper Dragons to counter. We can see 3 warriors in the front to splash and take damage evenly from the lizards. This allows all the warriors to survive, but for a good chance to cast their spells. That's what the Doom and the Conquer did. And unfortunately for our Assassin player over here, that was a terrible focus, and this does happen to Assassins because you can't control which unit to focus. And other than the Assassin player, most other players did defeat the lizards with ease, so only Assassin player lost to the lizards. We are seeing 2 Crystal Maidens, guys. The 2 Crystal Maidens do provide mana regen independently of each other. What that means is that the 2 Crystal Maidens will give 2 instances of mana regen, and this will actually enhance the ability of Mars Mages because they have such low CD, they just need more mana. And once you boost out the mana, you add on Zeus, which he already has. So right now the Deucer is going to be casting every 5 seconds. I don't think anyone can beat our Mars Mage. Currently it's a God's Mage, not a Mars Mage anymore. Anyone can beat our God's Mage because those assassins did not actually move out of the zone. The Deucer is constantly screaming. This is incredible, and this was the player of the green hair player. He is the world top 10 player, and he started the losing streak purposely to go into a God's Mage. He's my favorite player right now, that's confirmed. That's incredible. And our friend Mendoza said Zeus is OP and green hair already won the game. Oh, let's see. I don't think there's anyone that can contest him unless he gets a very unlucky RNG critical by the assassins, that is take out the Deuce outright, or unless the Knights, the Viper strikes down the Medusa. Other than that, he's pretty much secured. The Mars or the God's Mage have a very, very strong offensive potential. The defense potential is not that great because they can't run Nagas for magic defense, they can't run Warriors, and they can't run Knights. So that's the only downside with the Gods. But once the God's Mages hit that potential optimal level, it's basically impossible for anyone to defeat them unless you get a lucky control or a lucky Knight shield. Assassin player is in trouble right now. Most of his assassins are falling off if they're only 2-star. The only 3-star he has is a Morphling. He's looking for the Queen of Pain as well. That moment, when you're Warrior Hunter versus Elf Hunter, you feel so good because you passed the evasion. Oh, look over here, guys. Guess who found techies? The player who found techies is our Frog player. He was the player that had the win streak. He went to level 9 super fast. Now he found his techies. He went into a 6 Goblin Mage. This was a quite popular meta in Chinese play style actually. While I was doing a little research, I actually saw the Goblin Mages were actually quite popular with the Chinese because the Crystal Maiden will enable all the goblins to be casting faster, while the burst damage for all the other units come from the mages and come from the techies. The techies really do enjoy the Crystal Maiden, so he's less item dependent, but more heavily in terms of burst and sustain. Oh, against assassins, and he did find his crown of pain, by the way, guys. Let's see. Crystal Maiden did die. Zeus already zapped, but most units were jumping, so they're actually immune to damage. The thing we want to focus is how much this techie bomb hits. We don't get to focus because we went to the player he was fighting because he's about to defeat this player. This player did get defeated, and notice how here he did not lose any health, so that means he defeated the assassins with his goblin mages. And of course, the green hair player is currently not losing at all because he's got 2 masters, 2 razors, and 2 crystal maiden with a Zeus on top of that. We're looking at the top 3 player right now. The number 3 player is the assassin player, and this is a Chinese little joke about assassin players, is that the assassin player is the best white collar player because he works for the boss that comes second and first, but he himself is not a CEO, so he's not a shareholder, he's not a CEO, he doesn't get the benefit of coming top 2, but he's the best white collar player to be making his pay by coming 3rd or 4th because he takes out most other players by himself. This is massive. This is the first time the goblin player faced the green hair player, and oh my gosh, the assassin player did get punished by the goblin player. The white hair player is the one that stayed undefeated with those 2 being defeated by each other. It's likely our assassin player is going to come top 3 and the goblin player might come top 2 while the gods mage will come first. That's my prediction, and right now most players are going to split up for the dragons around 35. Unlike what I did, I clamped up for the dragons thinking it's around 30 because I need better glasses, and my chat's like, no, you're gonna die, man. I saw it's the dragons, so it's too late to swap, and we fully got splashed down by the dragons. So notice here, everyone do adjust for the dragons. He used the Templar as a tank, but unfortunately she died before she got her spells off. So he might actually die to the dragon. No, he's okay. Because the Morphling turns out to be a better tank over here. Some lucky critical hits. So, good friends Prey said, assassin players might win if he gets 9 and putting Naga. That's true. That's definitely true, because if he can get some magic resistance, both players are actually going magic. But the downside is assassin players can't defeat the goblin player because he has goblin armor with everything. Assassin excels in terms of physical damage, but once you have so much armor, you have 60% armor reduction, a 2000 damage crit now only serves about, how much is it? Brain's not working right now. Only serves about 800 damage instead of 2k damage. No, he found the gods mage, and that Mars is positioned pretty nicely. So let's see, the razor hits. Oh, the dudes are already started screaming. No one will be moving at all now. This is actually a permanent stun because dudes have 5 second CD, 5 second cast, and she will be screaming all day. So the assassin player did get defeated. This is the final showdown for the economy goblin versus the gods mage. Oh, the gods mage lost the goblins. Did you guys see that? The gods mage actually lost the goblins. And notice he replaced Lich with the Necro, because Necro is a key unit in the gods mage for healing, for surviving, and for damage dealing. I would still favor the gods mage because the goblins won't have enough burst, but that's your traditional like normal goblins. But this particular goblin is a mage goblin, so things will be different. Notice the green hair player did start swapping because he lost that round. This is actually wonderful. The cast actually saved us time by showing us both sides. We can see the goblin player on this side. We can see the green hair player with the gods mage on this side. Look at those razors, guys. That's incredible. So right now, oh, did the camera just shift? Right now it's fully focused on the goblin player. I think the production were mixing a bit up. The green hair player did win this round, and the goblin player is actually at his last drop of health. This is actually wonderful production. Thumbs up for the Chinese cast for sure, my friends. So, we're looking at level 10 for both players. Both players have no gold. This will be the show match before, this is the showdown before the trolls. And most players are pretty low, but the green hair player can afford to lose once. Notice how the goblin player is putting all the units reversed, So they actually want the units to get the spells out fast instead of having the first line of cast by the mage player. Let's double Dusa. Oh gosh, that's my dream build. Ideally, 2 Dusa will be screaming all day that it should be nuking down every unit they face. And the big difference maker here is one of the Dusa died to the goblins. But on the other side, let's come back to the final match and see exactly what happened. The Gods Mage actually also died, I think, and let's see who died last. Here the Gods Mage is versing goblins, and here the Zeus zapped already once, and the backline of the Gods Mage actually okay, I see. So notice how here the Gods Mage did win his round because the camera swapped to both onto the goblin player. So the Gods Mage already won. It's a goblin player that's about to lose. So no, they did not lose at the same time, but rather the goblin player lost here. And as we can see, hits the goblin player both, and it's the same scream, so the goblin player lost to the Gods Mage. That's what I expected, because the goblins will not be able to do enough damage to the Gods Mage to nuke them down, and this gives the Gods Mage so much time to cast multiple times. A few summaries for here. So for the Gods Mage, this green hair player is considered the top player in China because he was interviewed several times. Apparently he got 2 accounts to top 10, and for his first game he performed very well. For the second game, unlike the first game who spent aggressively, for the second game he purposely started the losing streak. We caught him right when he was on second place. He started losing streak, went down to the last place, and then came back with a Gods Mage. That's an incredible fun build, a very powerful build for the late game. So he planned very well and transitioned very well into his games. So we'll be very much focusing on him for the third game of the tournament. Thank you so much guys for watching this second game of the tournament. I hope you enjoyed this game as much as I did, because this is a really nice show match of the Gods Mage and its potential in the late game. The moment he has 2 Medusas, they will be screaming non-stop, so everything will turn into statues after 2 seconds into the game. Thank you so much guys for your support, and if you want to support me further, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also to help me on Twitch, please subscribe to Twitch Prime. Thank you so much guys. I'll see you guys on YouTube next time.